You wake slowly as the first pale light of dawn filters through the small window of your bakery. The air is cool and sweet, carrying the scent of wild thyme from the hillsides beyond your village. Your eyes open gently to the familiar sight of your workshop. The stone walls hold the warmth from yesterday's ovens, and the wooden shelves gleam softly in the morning light. You stretch, feeling the comfort of your simple wool blanket, woven by your neighbor's wife with threads dyed the color of sunset. Outside, you can hear the soft murmur of the fountain in the village square. Its gentle splash has marked the rhythm of your days for countless seasons. The sound mingles with the distant lowing of cattle as they move slowly through the morning mist. You rise from your bed, feeling the smooth coolness of the clay tiles beneath your feet. These tiles were made by the potter Marcus, who shapes them with the same gentle care you use when kneading dough. As you splash the cool water on your face, you feel fully awake, yet still wrapped in the gentle calm of dawn. The water runs down your cheeks, carrying away the last traces of sleep. You dry your face with a soft linen cloth, woven from flax that grows in the fields beyond the village. Your reflection wavers gently in the remaining water. You see kind eyes, weathered hands, and the peaceful expression of someone who has found their place in the world. Your hair is touched with grey, like the olive trees that grow more beautiful with each passing season. You turn to survey your bakery, your sanctuary, your life's work. The great stone oven dominates one wall, its mouth dark and cool now, but soon it will glow with the warm light of oak and olive wood. The oven was built by your father and his father before him, each generation adding their own touch, their own wisdom to its construction. The wooden work table sits in the center of the room, its surface worn smooth by countless hours of kneading, rolling, and shaping. The wood is olive, grown in the groves that surround your village. Its grain runs like gentle rivers across the surface, telling the story of seasons and sunshine. Along the walls, shelves hold your tools, wooden bowls of different sizes carved from walnut and oak. Each one fits perfectly in your hands, shaped by use and time into the perfect instruments for your craft. Clay jars hold your precious stores, flour ground from wheat that grows golden in the valley, olive oil pressed from trees that have stood for centuries. You move to the largest jar, running your hands along its smooth surface. The potter made it mix the clay with fine sand from the riverbank, creating a vessel that breathes. Keeping your flour fresh and cool, you lift the wooden lid, and the sweet scent of ground wheat rises to meet you. It smells of sunshine, of summer fields, of the simple goodness of grain. The flour feels soft between your fingers, finer than silk, yet substantial, real. It connects you to the farmers who tend the fields, to the millers who turn the great stone wheels, to the long chain of hands that bring this simple miracle to your workshop. You close the jar gently and move to the window. Outside, your village is waking slowly. Smoke rises from chimneys, thin and grey against the pale sky. The baker's trade begins before dawn, but this morning feels different, more peaceful, as if the world itself is moving more slowly. A cat walks across the square, its paws silent on the worn stones. It pauses at the fountain, lapping delicately at the clear water. The cat's fur is the colour of autumn leaves, and it moves with the unhurried grace of a creature that knows it belongs here. You watch the cat and feel that same sense of belonging. This village, this bakery, this simple life, they are yours as much as you are theirs. The morning light grows stronger, painting the stone walls with warm gold, and you know it is time to begin. But first, you stand quietly for a moment longer, breathing in the peace of dawn, feeling grateful for this work, for this place, for this gentle rhythm of days. The village fountain continues its soft song. The olive trees whisper in the breeze, and you are exactly where you belong. Your eyelids grow heavy as you remember this perfect morning. The soft sounds of the waking village fade gently. The scent of thyme and olive blossoms drifts through your dreams, and you sink slowly, peacefully, into the deep embrace of sleep. The sun climbs higher, casting long shadows across your workshop. You move with the quiet rhythm of someone who has performed these tasks 1,000 times. Yet each morning feels like the first, fresh and full of possibility. You begin with the starter, the mother dough that has lived in your bakery for 7 years. It rests in a clay pot by the warm stones of the oven, bubbling gently, alive with the wild yeasts that float on the morning air. Your grandmother taught you to tend this living thing, to feed it, to listen to its quiet whispers. The starter smells of wine and honey, of fermentation and life. You stir it gently with a wooden spoon, carved from olive wood by your own hands. The bubbles rise and pop, releasing tiny puffs of sweet yeasty air. This is the beginning, the foundation of every loaf you will create. You measure flour into your largest bowl. The ceramic is smooth and cool, made by the potter who learned his craft from the old masters, who understood that clay and fire and time can create something both beautiful and useful. The flour forms a small mountain, white as fresh snow, soft as flower petals. Water comes next, drawn from the spring that feeds your village. It is cool and pure, carrying the essence of the mountains where it was born. You pour it slowly, watching as it finds its way into the valleys of flour, creating tiny streams and pools. The water seems to sing as it meets the grain. Salt follows, harvested from the great salt flats near the sea, where the sun and wind work together to leave behind these precious white crystals. Salt is sacred. The Romans knew this. They paid their soldiers with it, valued it like gold. In your bread, it brings out the sweetness of the grain, balances the flavors, makes each loaf complete. You add olive oil, pressed from the fruit of trees that grow on the terraced hillsides. The oil is golden green, carrying the taste of sunshine and earth. It makes the dough tender, keeps it moist, adds richness that speaks of the Mediterranean sun. Now comes the mixing. You use your hands, feeling the ingredients come together. The flour absorbs the water slowly, grain by grain. The mixture changes texture, becomes cohesive, begins to transform from separate elements into something unified, something whole. The dough is rough at first, shaggy and uneven, but you are patient. You know that time and gentle work will bring it together. You turn it onto your wooden work surface and begin to knead. Your hands push and fold, in a rhythm as old as civilization itself. The wood of your table is warm from the morning sun. Its surface is smooth, polished by years of use. You can feel the grain through the dough, the gentle texture that guides your hands. The table was made from an olive tree that grew in your grandfather's grove. Its wood carries the memory of seasons, of rain and sun and patient growth. As you knead, the dough changes, becomes smoother, more elastic. The gluten strands develop, creating the structure that will hold the bread together. You can feel this happening under your hands, the transformation from simple ingredients into something magical, something that has fed humanity for thousands of years. The rhythm of kneading is meditative, soothing. Your breathing slows to match the pace of your hands. Push, fold, turn. Push, fold, turn. The motion becomes prayer, becomes meditation. Becomes a conversation between you and the dough. Sunlight streams through the window, illuminating the flour dust that dances in the air. Each mote catches the light, creating tiny stars in your workshop. The dust settles on your arms, on your apron, marking you as a baker, as someone who works with their hands to create sustenance. You can smell the developing dough. It has a clean, fresh scent, like fields after rain. The wild yeasts are beginning their work, starting the slow fermentation that will create the complex flavors, the airy texture, the golden crust that makes bread one of life's great pleasures. The dough tells you when it is ready. It becomes smooth, slightly sticky, with a life of its own. You form it into a ball and place it in an oiled bowl. The olive oil gleams on its surface, protecting it, nurturing it, helping it to rise. You cover the bowl with a clean linen cloth, woven from flax that grows in the valley. The cloth is soft, well worn, made by hands that understood the importance of covering rising dough, protecting it from drafts, keeping it warm and safe. The first rise begins. You place the bowl in a warm spot, near the oven where the stones still hold yesterday's heat. The dough will double in size, the yeasts working their quiet magic, creating the bubbles that will give your bread its light, airy texture. While the dough rises, you prepare your other ingredients. Herbs gathered from the hillsides, rosemary and thyme, oregano and sage. Their scents fill the air, connecting you to the wild places where they grow, to the ancient knowledge of which plants heal, which ones flavor, which ones bless. You have olives too, cured in salt and herbs. Their purple-black skins glisten with oil. They taste of the Mediterranean, of long summer days and gentle autumn harvests. Some loaves today will hold these treasures, creating bread that is both simple and luxurious. The morning passes quietly, peacefully. The dough rises slowly, and you move through your tasks with the unhurried grace of someone who understands that good bread cannot be rushed. It needs time, patience, respect. You check the dough. It has grown, expanded, become light and airy. When you press it gently with your finger, it springs back slowly, telling you it is ready for the next step, ready to be shaped, to be transformed once more. As you punch down the dough, releasing the gases that have built up during fermentation, you think about the miracle of bread. How simple ingredients, flour and water, salt and thyme, can become something so nourishing, so satisfying, so essential to life. The dough deflates with a soft sigh, and you smile, knowing that this is just another step in the process, another transformation on the way to creating something beautiful, something that will feed your neighbors, bring them comfort, connect them to the long tradition of shared meals and simple pleasures. Your hands work gently, lovingly, shaping the dough, preparing it for its final rise. The morning light grows stronger, and you feel deeply content, grateful for this work, for this rhythm, for this connection to something timeless and true. The scent of rising dough fills your bakery, mingles with the herbs and olive oil, creates an atmosphere of warmth and welcome. You breathe deeply, feeling the peace of this moment, the satisfaction of work well done, the anticipation of bread soon to come. Your movements slow, becoming more languid, more peaceful. The gentle rhythm of your work, the soft sounds of the village, the warm scent of developing bread, all combine to create a sense of deep tranquility. Your eyelids grow heavy, and you drift into dreams of golden loaves, of satisfied customers, of a life well lived. The morning sun warms your face, and you sleep peacefully, contentedly. The sun reaches its midpoint, casting short shadows in your workshop. The time has come to wake the great stone oven, to coax fire from wood, to create the heat that will transform your shaped dough into golden bread. You move to the pile of seasoned wood, oak and olive, chestnut and fig. Each piece has been aged for 2 seasons, dried slowly in the Mediterranean sun. The wood is light in your hands, hollow sounding when you tap it, ready to burn with clean, hot flames. The oven mouth yawns before you, dark and cool, but soon it will glow with warmth. You begin building your fire, starting with small kindling, twigs from the rosemary bushes, dry grapevines from last season's pruning. These catch easily, sending up thin spirals of aromatic smoke. The kindling crackles and pops, releasing the scents of the plants that gave it life. Rosemary smoke carries the essence of the hillsides, while grapevine smoke whispers of autumn harvests, of wine and celebration. As the cycles that connect all living things, you add larger pieces, gradually building the fire. The flames dance and flicker, casting moving shadows on the oven walls. The stones begin to absorb the heat, slowly, patiently, storing it deep in their mass. These stones were quarried from the hillsides. Smoke rises from the oven, drifting out through the chimney, dispersing into the clear morning air. The scent of burning wood mingles with the herbs that grow wild on your roof, creating a perfume that speaks of home, of tradition, of the simple pleasure of fire and food. You can feel the heat beginning to radiate from the oven, warming your face, your hands. The stones change color as they heat, from grey to white, absorbing more and more energy, becoming a reservoir of perfect baking heat. While the oven heats, you return to your dough. The loaves have completed their second rise. They sit on wooden boards, covered with linen cloths. Their surfaces are smooth, slightly domed, ready for the final transformation. You uncover the first loaf and breathe in its scent. The dough smells alive, yeasty, complex. The wild yeasts have worked their magic, creating flavor, developing the gluten, preparing the bread for its encounter with fire. With gentle hands, you score the surface of each loaf. Using a sharp knife, you create shallow cuts. These will allow the bread to expand properly, to develop the rustic appearance that marks artisan bread. The knife slides easily through the soft dough, leaving clean lines, perfect openings for the bread to bloom. The patterns you cut are traditional, passed down through generations of bakers. Some loaves receive a simple cross, others get parallel lines. A few are decorated with wheat sheaf patterns. Each cut is both functional and beautiful, a signature that marks the bread as yours. You dust the loaves with flour. The white powder settles on their surfaces, highlighting the scored lines, giving them a rustic, artisanal appearance. The flour also helps prevent sticking, ensures that the bread will slide easily into the oven. By now, the oven is nearly ready. The flames have died down to glowing coals. The stones are white hot, radiating waves of heat. You can feel the intensity from several feet away. This is the moment you have been building toward, the culmination of the morning's work. You rake the coals to one side, clearing a space for your bread. The oven floor is clean, smooth, ready to receive the loaves. You have done this countless times, but it never loses its sense of ceremony, of transformation about to begin. The first loaf goes in. You slide it carefully from its board onto the hot stone. It sizzles slightly as it touches the oven floor. The heat immediately begins its work, starting the final rise, the oven spring that will give the bread its full size and shape. One by one, you load the loaves. Each one finds its place in the oven. The heat surrounds them, penetrates them, begins the complex chemical reactions that will create crust and crumb. Flavor and texture. The ancient alchemy of baking has begun. You close the oven door, sealing in the heat. The bread is now beyond your control, in the hands of fire and time. You have done your part, mixed and kneaded, shaped and scored. Now you must wait and trust in the process. The oven radiates heat, warming the entire bakery. The stones tick and pop as they expand, releasing the energy they have stored. The sound is rhythmic, soothing, like a heartbeat, like the pulse of life itself. You move to the window and look out at your village. The midday sun bathes everything in golden light. People move slowly through the square, unhurried, content. A woman fills her water jug at the fountain. An old man sits in the shade of the olive tree, reading a scroll. Children play quietly in the dust. The scent of baking bread begins to drift from your oven. At first, just a hint, then stronger, richer, more complex. It is the smell of home, of comfort, of sustenance. The aroma will soon fill the square, drawing people to your door, connecting them to the ancient ritual of sharing bread. You clean your work surfaces, wash your bowls, prepare for the next batch. But your movements are slow, peaceful. There is no hurry, no stress, just the gentle rhythm of work, the satisfaction of tasks completed, the anticipation of bread soon to be ready. The heat from the oven warms your entire body, soaks into your bones, relaxes your muscles. You feel drowsy, content, wrapped in the comfort of your craft, the steady warmth, the gentle sounds of the village, the promise of golden bread, all combine to create a sense of perfect peace. Your eyelids grow heavy. The warmth surrounds you like a blanket. The scent of baking bread fills your dreams, and you drift, slowly, peacefully, into sleep, knowing that when you wake, your loaves will be golden, perfect, ready to nourish your neighbors, and continue the endless cycle of flour and fire, of work and rest, of simple satisfaction. The afternoon sun slants through your workshop windows, casting long rectangles of warm light across the stone floor. You wake from your brief rest, feeling refreshed, peaceful. The scent of baking bread has grown stronger, richer, more complex, filling your bakery with the promise of golden loaves. You approach the oven and listen. The bread is singing, crackling softly as the crusts form, as moisture escapes, as the ancient transformation reaches its completion. This is the sound that has marked the end of baking for countless generations. The quiet song of grain becoming sustenance. Through the small window in the oven door, you can see the loaves. They have grown, expanded, taken on the golden color that speaks of perfect heat, perfect timing. The scored lines have opened, creating rustic patterns, artisan signatures that mark each loaf as unique. You check the time by the sundial outside your window. The shadow has moved, marking the passage of the afternoon. Your bread has been baking for the right amount of time, absorbing heat, developing flavor, creating the perfect balance of crust and crumb. The moment has come. You open the oven door and are greeted by a wave of heat, dry and intense, carrying the incredible aroma of fresh bread. The loaves are beautiful, golden brown, with crusts that look crisp and inviting. They have achieved the perfect color, the ideal texture. One by one, you remove the loaves, using your long wooden peel. The bread slides easily from the oven stones, light and hollow sounding when you tap the bottom. The crust is firm but not hard, yielding slightly to pressure, promising a tender crumb within. You place the hot loaves on wooden racks where they can cool gradually, naturally. The bread continues to cook slightly from its own retained heat, the crumb settling, the flavors mellowing. This is the final stage, the completion of the process that began before dawn. The cooling bread creates its own music. Tiny cracking sounds as the crust contracts. Soft sighs as steam escapes. It is a symphony of satisfaction. The sound of work completed, of transformation achieved. You run your hands along the surface of a loaf, feeling the texture, the warmth, the aroma fills your bakery, drifts out into the square, draws people like a gentle summons. This is the scent that has called communities together for thousands of years. The smell of home, of nourishment, of the simple abundance that comes from skilled hands and patient work. Your first customers begin to arrive, drawn by the promise of fresh bread. They enter your bakery with smiles, with anticipation, with the quiet satisfaction of people who know they are about to receive something made with care, with love, with the ancient knowledge of the baker's craft. An elderly woman approaches, her face lined with years of sun and laughter. She selects a loaf, holds it to her nose, breathes deeply. Her eyes close in appreciation. She has been buying bread from your family for decades, knows the quality, trusts the tradition. A young mother comes with her child, a small girl with bright eyes and flour-dusted hands. The child reaches for a roll, still warm from the oven, and takes a bite. Her face lights up with joy, with the simple pleasure of good bread, fresh and warm and perfect. You wrap their purchases in clean linen cloths, protecting the bread, keeping it fresh. Each loaf is a gift, a connection between your hands and their tables, between your craft and their nourishment, part of the endless cycle that sustains community. The afternoon passes quietly, peacefully. Customers come and go, each taking part of your morning's work, carrying the bread to their homes, where it will be shared, appreciated, woven into the fabric of daily life. This is the true reward of your craft, not just the creation, but the sharing. You save the best loaves for your neighbours, the ones who have been kind, who have helped when help was needed, who understand that good bread is more than food. It is a connection, a gesture of care, a small act of love made manifest in flour and fire. As the sun begins to sink toward the horizon, ye clean your workshop, prepare for tomorrow's baking. The oven cools gradually, the stones releasing their heat, returning to their patient rest, ready to be awakened again, to participate once more in the ancient ritual of making bread. You arrange the remaining loaves on your shelves, each one perfect in its own way. Some are large, hearty, meant for families. Others are small, delicate, shaped for individual pleasure. All carry the same care, the same attention, the same love. The last customer leaves, and you are alone with your bread, with the satisfaction of work completed, with the peace that comes from following an ancient calling. The golden loaves glow in the afternoon light, beautiful, nourishing, perfect. You take a heel of bread for yourself, still warm, still fragrant. The crust cracks under your teeth, revealing the tender crumb within. The flavor is complex, nutty, slightly sweet, with the deep satisfaction that comes only from bread made with patience, with skill, with love. Outside, the village settles into evening. People gather in the square, sharing the day's news, the simple pleasures of community. Many carry your bread, will break it at their tables, will taste in each bite the care you have taken, the ancient knowledge you have preserved. The sun sets slowly, painting the sky in shades of gold and rose, the same colours as fresh bread, as autumn wheat, as the endless cycle of seasons that brings grain to harvest, flour to dough, bread to table. You feel deeply satisfied, content, grateful for this work, for this place, for this simple, essential calling. The day has been perfect, productive, peaceful. Tomorrow you will begin again, but tonight you rest in the knowledge of work well done. Your eyelids grow heavy. The golden light fades to purple, then to deep blue. The scent of bread lingers in the air, comforting, familiar, like a lullaby. You drift peacefully into dreams of golden fields, of warm ovens, of the simple, eternal pleasure of bread shared with friends, and sleep comes gently, softly, like flower settling into peaceful rest. The last light of day filters through your workshop windows, soft and golden, painting everything with the warm glow of eventide. Your work is complete. The bread sold or stored, the ovens cooling, the tools cleaned and ready for tomorrow's tasks. You move slowly through your bakery, checking each detail, ensuring that everything is in its proper place. This evening ritual brings you peace, satisfaction, the gentle closure that marks the end of a day well spent. You light a single oil lamp, its flame dancing gently in the still air. The light is warm, intimate, casting soft shadows that dance across your workshop walls. The olive oil burns clean and bright, carrying the scent of the groves where it was born, connecting you to the cycle of seasons, of harvest and plenty. Outside, your village settles into evening. The fountain in the square continues its eternal song, a gentle splash that has marked the rhythm of countless days, countless seasons. People move slowly through the streets, unhurried, content, carrying the satisfaction of work completed, of bread shared, of simple pleasures enjoyed. You step outside, into the cooling air. The sky above is deepening from gold to purple, the first stars beginning to appear. Tiny points of light that have watched over bakers and bread makers for thousands of years. The same stars that shone on your grandfather, on the Roman legions, on the first people who learned to grind grain and bake bread. The air is sweet with the scent of olive blossoms, of herbs growing wild on the hillsides, of the distant sea that sends its gentle breezes inland. You breathe deeply, feeling the peace of this moment, the satisfaction of a day that has followed its proper rhythm, that has honored the ancient ways. You carry a small loaf with you, saved from the day's baking. Its crust is golden, still slightly warm, perfect for this evening ritual. This bread will be your supper, simple, pure, the reward for your day's work. You break it slowly, savoring the sound of the crust crackling, the sight of the tender crumb within. The bread tastes of everything good, of sunshine and rain, of patient hands and ancient knowledge, of the cycle that connects seed to harvest, grain to flour, flour to bread. It is more than food. It is a connection to the earth, to the community, to the endless chain of human skill and care. You sit on the stone bench outside your bakery, the same bench where your father sat and his father before him. The stone is smooth, worn by generations of bakers taking their evening rest. You feel connected to them all, part of an unbroken chain, a tradition that stretches back to the beginning of civilization. The village around you is peaceful, quiet. The day's work is done. People sit in their doorways, sharing the simple pleasure of evening. Children play quietly in the dust, their laughter soft and musical. Dogs sleep in the warm spots where the sun lingered, everything settling into the gentle rhythm of night. You think about the day, about the bread you made, the customers who smiled, the satisfaction of work completed with care. There has been no rush, no stress, just the gentle unfolding of tasks in their proper order, the ancient dance of flower and fire, of skill and patience. The stars grow brighter, more numerous. The sky deepens to its full darkness, but you are not afraid. The lamp inside your bakery glows warmly, a beacon of home, of safety, of the simple comfort that comes from meaningful work, from a life lived in harmony with the rhythms of nature and community. You rise slowly, feeling the pleasant tiredness that comes from a day well spent. Your muscles are relaxed, your mind at peace. Tomorrow will bring new bread, new customers, new opportunities to practice your craft. But tonight, there is only rest, only the gentle satisfaction of work completed. Inside your bakery, you bank the coals in the oven, covering them with ash, ensuring they will hold a gentle heat through the night, ready to be awakened in the morning, to begin again the ancient cycle of fire and transformation. The coals glow softly, like sleeping rubies, holding the promise of tomorrow's bread. You clean your hands one final time, washing away the last traces of flour, of dough, of the day's work. The water is cool, refreshing, carrying away the evidence of your labor, leaving only the satisfaction, the peace, the gentle tiredness that speaks of time well spent. You blow out the lamp, and the bakery settles into darkness. But it is not empty. It holds the memory of the day's work, the promise of tomorrow's bread, the warmth of the cooling oven, the peace that comes from following an ancient calling, from serving your community, from creating something beautiful and nourishing with your own hands. You move to your bed, simple but comfortable. The sheets are clean linen, cool against your skin. The mattress is stuffed with wool from the sheep that graze the hillsides, soft and supportive. Everything speaks of simplicity, of the basic comforts that make life good. Outside, the village sleeps. The fountain continues its gentle song. The olive trees whisper in the night breeze. The stars wheel overhead in their eternal dance. All is peaceful. All is well. All is exactly as it should be. You close your eyes, feeling the deep satisfaction of a baker at the end of a perfect day. The scent of bread still lingers in the air, comforting, familiar, like a lullaby made of flour and fire. Your breathing slows, deepens, matches the rhythm of the sleeping village, the eternal pulse of life itself. The night breeze stirs the curtains, brings the scent of jasmine, of cooling stones, of the sea beyond the hills. You are surrounded by peace, by the quiet satisfaction of work well done, by the ancient comfort of bread shared, of community served, of a life lived in harmony with the rhythms of earth and season. Your body relaxes, muscle by muscle, letting go of the day's effort, sinking into the comfort of your bed. The stone walls of your bakery hold you safe, protect you, surround you with the warmth of home, of purpose, of a life that has meaning beyond itself. Sleep comes gently, naturally, like flower settling into peaceful rest. Your dreams are filled with golden light, with the scent of baking bread, with the faces of satisfied customers, with the ancient satisfaction of the baker's craft. The night breeze hums softly through the olive trees, carrying you deeper into rest, into the peaceful darkness where all is well, all is quiet, all is perfectly, peacefully complete. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the gentle sounds of the sleeping village fade into silence. The night embraces you, holds you, rocks you gently into the deep, restorative sleep of someone who has lived their day with purpose, with care, with the ancient wisdom of grain and fire, of patience and skill, of bread shared in love. And you drift slowly, peacefully, into dreams of golden fields, of warm ovens, of the simple, eternal satisfaction of work well done. The night is soft, the world is quiet, and you sleep deeply, contentedly, in the embrace of a life well lived, a craft well practiced, a community well served. Sleep comes gentle as falling flour, soft as rising dough, warm as the baker's oven, and you rest, peacefully, completely, in the quiet satisfaction of another day, another loaf, another small act. The baker sleeps and dreams of tomorrow's bread. The village rests, peaceful and content. The ancient rhythms continue, flower and fire, seed and harvest, the eternal dance of sustenance and community. And all is well, all is peaceful, all is exactly as it should be. Each tile fits perfectly against the next, creating a floor that stays cool even in the heat of summer. The morning air flows through your doorway, bringing with it the scent of olive trees. Their silver-green leaves catch the early light, dancing in the soft breeze that comes down from the mountains. You breathe deeply, feeling the peace of this moment settle into your bones. You move to the wooden basin by the window. The water inside is clear and cool, collected from the spring that feeds your village. This spring has flowed for generations, its waters blessed by the nymphs who dwell in the sacred grove nearby. The Romans who came before you built their temples there, knowing that some places hold a special tranquility.